Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is called Unremembered. It was written by Heinrich Dubois, and it's available at Drive-Thru RPG. Our game master is Alex Sun, and this is episode 1. So, without any further delay, les bon temps roulés. Alex.
Thank you, Tom. It is Friday, March 12th, 1993. Our story begins in New Orleans, Louisiana, in a police station conference room in District 5. That Tuesday was around 3 weeks ago. Coffee is brewing, the smell permeates the room, and it's illuminated by the sterile commercial fluorescent lighting. Filing cabinets desperately try to cover the peeling yellow wallpaper. Tables have been put together to form a large triangle in the center of the room. A balding man, white shirt, black tie, suspenders, with an athletic build towering at a 6'4", walks in. He looks tired and irritated. You know him as Commander Willem Dupree of the New Orleans Police Department's Missing Persons Divisions. All right. Business as usual is no longer accepted. Gentlemen, he puts a dossier onto the center of the table. A mother, Acadia Dubois, reported the disappearance of her son yesterday following a domestic altercation between the two. I had an officer, Officer Charles Harris. He took Miss Dubois' statement along with a photograph of Franklin, which you'll find in the dossier. He was expected to return home, as is often in the case of runaways. But now that 24 hours have passed since the mother reported the disappearance, he's now officially a missing person. And this case is super important. I want you to get this straight through your skulls. Make sure the optics looks good. Make sure you recover the boy, Franklin Dubois, because we don't want this showing up in the papers. Questions?
How old is the boy?
The boy, he is 17 years old, and he lives at 1170 Stonewall Drive in the Desire neighborhood.
What's the kid's name?
His name is Franklin Dubois.
Where was he last seen?
He apparently ran away from home. And look in this report. He flips open the dossier, and it contains a report.
Full name, Acadia Dubois, 1170 Stonewall Drive. Date of incident, March 11th, 1993. Time of incident, approximately 07:45. Details of event. Responded to call received by dispatcher at 7:45 hours from Miss Acadia Dubois, subject A, to report her son, Franklin Dubois, missing person, missing as of last night, March 10th, 1993. Officer arrived at subject A's residence at 1170 Stonewall Drive at approximately 08:30 hours. Subject A, related events of missing persons departure from subject A's residence. See police report D930310205. Officer took subject A's description of missing person. Subject A describes missing person as a teenager, 17 years of age, African American, light skin, brown eyes, short cropped hair, height approximately 5'9", weight approximately 160 pounds, no tattoos, glasses. Subject A provided recently taken photograph of missing person. See attachment 1 to report. Subject A was unable to provide any next of kin. Missing person may have gone to officer note. Subject A was unable to identify missing person's father. Officer reassured subject A and departed residence at approximately 8:45. Addendum. Officer contacted subject A by phone at 2100 hours and learned that missing person had not returned to subject A's residence.
Is any trouble at home? Why did he run away, or did she give any answer to that?
Well, I feel like that's up for you to find out, officer.
Have to ask her. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Poor thing doesn't
Mattingly,
know the boy's father.
Bissonette, I trust that you'll handle this. You have some officers assigned, and pardon me, we have Martha Foster, a social worker, who's also assigned to this case in case you need her expertise.
Pleasure to meet you, Martha.
So you're probably the expert on, problems of this kind, runaways.
Oh, I work very hard at my job, and I happen to be pretty good at finding missing things, missing people. I like to profile the lost. We'll say that.
I've got a question for you, Martha, right off the bat. Is this a case that a subject you're familiar with? Does this person have a history have they had a case cross your desk at any point before?
No, this one's new to me, I'm afraid. Poor Franklin disappeared already. That's so young. These poor things. But we'll find him.
No tattoos. He sounds like a good boy.
Yeah, I mean it's always tricky growing up without knowing your father. I myself went through the foster system as a child. I understand how difficult it can be, but what matters is we have an obligation to find this kid and put right what has been put very wrong, so very wrong. Words are difficult. I'm a social worker, not a linguist.
Laissez-le bon temps rouler.
I also don't speak French.
Let's get this party started.
That's what I like to hear, officer. Get some results. And he leaves off in a hurry.
So what are we thinking? First lead that jumps to mind is we should probably go speak with Katie, I believe, his mother.
Yeah, home visits in order.
All right.
Ms. Foster, do you want to come with us policemen, or do you want to go with the detectives? Or do you have your own car?
I have my own car. I'll meet you there.
1170 Stonewall.
1170 Stonewall Drive.
All right, Mattingly, hop in.
Getting in with my cup of coffee.
Here we go. Let's go.
All right. So you drive to 1170 Stonewall, and it is in the Desire neighborhood, which is a poorer neighborhood in New Orleans. You can see that the buildings in this district are tagged with graffiti. There's litter and trash everywhere, overgrown grass, and the buildings, they sag and they're all chipped and worn away from the weather. Unsupervised children are playing in the streets. You see a couple jumping up and down on a mattress that has been discarded. And as soon as your cruisers approach this neighborhood, they're all watching intently. And at this time, as you park your cars in front of the two-story building, which is 1170 Stonewall Drive, I'll take a spot hidden roll, please, from everyone.
Oh, that is a hard pass.
All right. I rolled a 2.
Did not succeed.
Regular pass.
Excellent. So those of you who passed, as you approach and park by the curb, you see a teenage girl of the Gothic subculture, all black clothes, this beautiful violet hair that just stands out from as a stark contrast. She's watching you intently.
Can I go over and You say she's watching us. Does she look like wants to talk to us?
You get that impression.
Okay, I'm going to walk over and say, did you know Franklin Dubois?
She's going to start running.
Oh,
Well, whatever.
Okay.
she probably has drugs.
Wait, would I have my camera with me?
Yeah. You bring your camera along. You're a photographer.
I'm going to go ahead and take a photo of her.
All right.
I guess
Sure.
just of her back.
No problem. No roll required. Snap a photo of her. Her violet hair blowing in the breeze. She hops a fence.
Oh. This is the
Weirdos
place.
around here.
She might turn up again later.
Yes.
The
So
truth
what's the
is,
plan?
there are so many things so many people trying to get away with stuff in this neighborhood. It's almost not possible to police the whole thing. We just stick to the case we're on.
No.
Clock's ticking.
You know, he could have just gone. If he lives in this neighborhood, he might not want to live here. He just 17. He could get by on his own.
Nothing's off the table.
But maybe we can find out where he went.
Well, shall we knock?
Yep.
Yep.
So
Yeah, knock on the
all
door.
5 of you are heading into the residence, the Dubois residence. All right. So knocking on the door. There is who is it? A feminine voice.
New Orleans PD.
Oh. The door opens up, revealing a black woman in a tangled blonde wig. Her eyes, they droop from sleepless nights. She says, the police. Oh, please come in. Despite the outside neighborhood, the house is well maintained as you're led into a nicely furnished living room. Let me get some tea for you, please.
Thank you.
And as you sit down facing the front of the house, you notice that there is a hole in the wall by the front door.
Bullet hole, fist hole,
Fist hole.
fist hole.
No.
Yes.
Are there any family photos?
Yes, there are some family photos of Acadia and Franklin.
No father,
Suspicion-
though.
No father. No father in the picture. And she heats up the water. You hear the boiling of a kettle, and she arrives with a tray of tea. Are you here for another statement? Are you going to find Franklin? Please tell
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
We'd just like to ask you some further questions.
Okay. Anything that will get my dear Franklin back.
I'm gonna
I'd like
take
to ask. I'd like to ask you where was your son last seen?
Well, I called yesterday because Franklin he ran away, and on Wednesday, 2 days ago, we had a pretty bad fight.
Do you know who he had a fight with?
He got into well, we raised our voices. Things got very emotional, and he
If you don't
He got
mind me
into a fight with
asking,
me.
what did you argue about?
well, we were talking about his father.
Does he know who his father is?
No, he does not.
You know who his father is?
And she shifts her weight around. She's very uncomfortable. Officer, I've done a lot of things in the past that I'm not proud of, but I don't regret having Franklin.
No shame in that, but do you know who he is?
No.
I'm going to say to her, whatever's happened in the past is what's happened in the past. What we need to focus on right now is gathering as much information as possible to help you find your son. The first 24 hours are very critical. So any information that you can think of that you can tell us, that would certainly help us locate your son.
I mean, I thought the information I gave the other officer was good enough. It's been 2 days since he's gone.
Is there a possibility that the father may have been around? Like any information about the father would be very, very useful.
I don't know anything about the father. Sorry.
Okay.
Does he know a goth girl? And if I have a Polaroid, I'll show her the photo.
Oh, that's Violet. She's friends with Franklin.
Any chance you called her up? Is he living with her?
I haven't checked. I don't know where she lives.
Does he have other friends?
Yes, he has. He's been hanging around a lot of friends in high school. He mentions theater.
He's in the theater department.
Yes, he is. He's very passionate about that. Now that you think, I think that Violet was his girlfriend.
You got her number?
I do not.
Ma'am,
Does she go to the same high school?
Yes, they go to the same high school.
Okay.
Detective Bissonette, you were saying?
yes, ma'am. These sorts of arguments, were they typical, or was this the first time you've ever had a spat?
This isn't the first time.
Has he behaved in this way before? Has he run off, turned before?
It'd always be about his father. And we'd always get into fights, but I didn't know that it was going to get this bad. And she starts tearing up.
That's all right, man. It's going to be fine. We're going to find it.
Okay. Perhaps we should give Mr. Dubois a bit of a break. Mr. Dubois, could you show us to Franklin's room, please?
Oh, please. It's. I'm sorry. I need a moment. His room's upstairs. The door's locked. I lost the key, but you're welcome to do whatever it takes to get Franklin back. Please get my Franklin back.
Sure thing, Mr. Dubois. I would like to stay with Ms. Dubois.
Okay.
I would prefer if everybody else left.
All right.
I obviously I can't say that directly.
Let's go check his room.
I'm very heavily hinting go to his room. Okay.
Yeah, we can check his room to see if there's any indication of where he might have gone.
Wonderful. So
Pardon.
I was just going to pan on over to the officers and the detectives as they ascend the steps to the upstairs room. Acadia Dubois, she gestures that it's down the hallway to the right after you go up the stairs. And right when you head up the stairs, what you notice is that there's just posters adorning all the walls of this hallway. Various plays and musicals.
He's a Broadway boy.
Yes. And all of you are getting, as you walk down this hallway, the walls begin to just stretch and you're getting this awful feeling of vertigo.
Hell?
Oh, is there a gas leak?
Anyway, how are you feeling?
I think that coffee was a little bit too strong.
Yeah, I'm gonna back to the living room.
The feeling subsides after a few seconds.
Did you experience that too?
All of us, I think.
Yes, I did. Is everybody all right?
Did anybody smell anything? I didn't smell anything.
No gas.
I didn't smell anything.
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm going to step forward still and try to open his door.
All right. It is locked.
Okay. I'll give it a little force.
Okay. And you open the door.
Okay.
And as you look into the room and everyone's looking in, you see that spray painted on the directly in line of sight when you open the door is a strange symbol. And it's in yellow spray paint, and it is the yellow sign. So all of you can make sanity rolls as you see this.
It's only because I know what that is.
Come on, lucky dice.
Nope.
I passed.
Okay.
I passed.
So it's 0 if you pass, D6 if you fail.
6.
And only Officer Bordelon failed.
Apparently.
Okay. So you experience, Officer Bordelon, a flash of a memory that isn't yours. A broken, ruined city on the shores of some body of water, possibly a lake beneath 2 black orbs hanging there like suns. When the moment passes, you realize your feet, and only your feet, are soaked as if you have been standing in water.
Jesus, Bordelon, did you piss yourself?
What the hell? I don't know. Something's wrong up here. There's a gas. I'm starting to hallucinate.
And that's what you think, but your feet are wet.
Yeah. I hope I didn't piss myself. If I did, I didn't know it.
Here, have some water. Take a
Yeah,
seat.
it doesn't look good.
Is there a leak in the ceiling, or
There's no water on the floor but my feet. I'm going to go downstairs.
All right, you head downstairs.
Can I take a picture of the graffiti?
Of course, you can take a picture of it. And while this is happening, we're going to cut to Martha Foster and Acadia Dubois as she's serving you some tea.
So once all the police have gone up the stairs,
Yes.
I'm going to tenderly reach out and grab her hand and just say, "Men, huh?"
Oh, yes. I mean, I don't blame their ways. They're officers. They're the
They
police.
are. Sorry, we didn't get a chance to introduce myself to you. I'm Martha Foster. I actually work in the social system. I help cases like your son.
Oh, I really hope we get him back. I would do anything to get him back.
Certainly. So you mentioned that he may have a girlfriend named Violet. Was that her name?
Yes. That's what he called her. I don't know if that's her real name.
No worries. So did Franklin keep strange hours or different hours leading up to his disappearance? Was he staying out longer, perhaps not coming home at the same sort of times?
Yes, I mean, he always stayed after at school, and when you have a child who stays after long hours at school, you don't really question that. You're just happy for him and his pursuit of education.
Perhaps he was staying for his theater practice, maybe.
Yes,
it's wonderful that he has an outlet. That's fantastic. Did you ever go and see any of his shows?
I have. I actually am in charge of managing a theater myself.
Oh,
yes.
Are you?
Yes.
What theater are you in charge of?
I run the Lafayette Theater.
Okay.
And we show movies and we put on plays there as well, occasionally.
Lafayette Theater. Oh, so arts runs in the family, huh?
Yes, it does.
Do you ever jump on stage yourself, or are you more of a backstage sort of person?
Back in the day.
Back in the day, I bet you could still get up there.
Oh, you flatter me, Martha.
Okay. So these holes that I've noticed around the place, is that Franklin?
Yes. That
Yeah.
was Franklin. He
It must be scary.
he got upset. He showed me something when we were fighting. He said the letter belonged to his father, but that couldn't be. We haven't had contact with his father for a while, so I burned it.
A letter belonging to his father.
Yes. He
And
said,
you burnt.
Yeah, I burnt the thing. It was nonsense.
Okay.
We've been fighting since December. He received it in December. So I found the damn thing and I burnt it because it was a delusion.
Interesting. Why have you burnt this letter? Has it been put into the trash now, or is it completely gone, or is it?
Yes, it's gone.
Okay. So he received a letter in December from someone purporting to be his father.
Yeah.
And you've had some arguments about that ever since.
Yes.
Goodness me. And from my understanding, Franklin's a big boy. That must be scary when he gets angry.
Yeah, he's almost graduated. And
yeah.
He's almost graduated.
Poor thing. My friend, I promise we're going to do everything we possibly can to find Franklin. If you think of literally anything, even if it's the type of cola he likes to drink, whatever it is, please give me a call and I'll hand her a card for my office.
Okay, I'll let you know. And she takes your card, I assume. And continue.
So after that, I'd basically say, I'll give you some space to be with your thoughts, and then stand up and go to find the police.
All right, excellent. So it's at this point in time, you see Officer Bordilon at the top of the stairs.
Did your shoes get dirty? What's the deal?
I don't know. We all kind of got lightheaded. I must have stepped in something.
Right.
I need to sit down.
Okay, well, you do that. Perhaps give Ms. Dubois a bit of space. She's a bit overwhelmed by all of this happening. And I'm going to charge up the stairs.
All right,
straight into the hallway.
And we will go over to the detectives as well as Officer Garcia, as you are now in Franklin's room. And it looks like a teenage boy's room. However, there are a lot of theater posters plastered on the walls. The room looks like a mess. Looks like it was browsed through in a hurry. And you just can't stop thinking about that symbol. There's an inherent wrongness to it. And it's on the walls, like it's gazing into you.
Folks, are any of you familiar with this pattern on the wall?
I'm going to say to Ed, Ed, I don't want this to sound a bit crazy, but do you think that's a gang sign? Something trippy happening in the hallway, borderline pisty socks, I don't know, something's wrong.
Well, I wouldn't rule out it being a gang symbol, but...
I mean, I don't normally hear about, theater kids being in gangs unless it's West Side Story. So I don't know, there's something going on.
I think it could. Sorry, go.
With what we know, it wouldn't seem to fit the profile of this kid, but we don't know a whole lot about him, so we shouldn't rule it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you drink that cup of tea that his mother gave us?
Yes, I did.
And Rico, did you drink that cup of tea as well?
Sure, it was great.
And, you kind of felt a bit weird in the hallway.
I think I get what you're saying here.
I don't know. There's something wrong here.
Yeah.
Could be that. That'd be a hell of a fast acting agent, but it seemed to pass real quick. Acadia doesn't seem to me like the kind of lady who would pull something like that, but I see what you're angling towards.
Listen, guys, wouldn't it be more likely that since he has this goth girlfriend or whatever, that this is some kind of fucking satanic symbol? I mean, it looks satanic to me.
I think
Could be, but also it could be something from the most recent play he was working on. I mean, I'm not too familiar with theater.
At this point in time, Martha enters the room. And you see the yellow sign. Make a sanity roll.
Nothing. That is a pass.
Pass, 0. Once again, you just have this inherent feeling that this is wrong.
That's okay. Look, of the things I've seen in kids' rooms, not my favorite, but I've seen some shit. So we'll file that under creepy. But let's get to business. So, Violet, the girlfriend, may not be her actual name. So let's try and find a yearbook. Let's try and find anything that they may have exchanged as gifts. And, the normal drugs, weapons, diaries, that sort of thing.
Okay. So in this case, I will take a spot hidden roll from everyone in the room. And Officer Bordelon, you're downstairs enjoying some tea, gathering yourself from that intense experience. Okay.
All right. I have a regular success.
I have a regular.
All right. Awesome. Very nice. Mattingly, you find buried beneath other school papers a report card.
Hey, Ed, come check this out. This kid's a pretty smart egg, and then he seems to suddenly drop. I'm starting to think, maybe something led to this.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. Something definitely happened in that second quarter, and that would track with erratic behavior. And
I'm starting to still think, some sort of drugs here. Don't accept any cookies from the mother.
I'm not convinced on drugs from the mother quite yet, but certainly would be something explaining Franklin's behavior as of late. This is the age where kids tend to experiment with that sort of thing. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe it's not.
Detectives, can we please keep in mind that 16, 17, 18 is also a time when kids tend to face their first real challenges in life, such as death of a family member, a substantial breakup, perhaps moving away. It's not uncommon to see a kid's grades drop like this, and given the recent home life, this would be an expected outcome. I'm not saying that drugs aren't involved. I'm saying that perhaps broaden your mindset just a little bit.
Well, what's weird to me is that I guess the kid liked French. His French grade actually went up, even though all the other ones dropped.
Yeah, that's interesting.
His drama grade stayed the same.
Appreciate the perspective, Martha. Been in this career for so long, I tend to focus on a few most commonly encountered subjects. So I'm grateful that you're along with us to keep other alleys open.
All right. In addition to finding that report card, you also find a can of half-empty yellow spray paint that's rolled underneath the bed. there is a folded handwritten note pinned to the corkboard. It reads, D, I'm worried about you. You need to stop. This is dangerous. I still care about you. V, I'm still having nightmares. Aren't you?
Well, I guess we could extrapolate that this is Violet to perhaps D, Dubois. That would link her into being involved with whatever he's got going on.
Yes.
I like that idea of trying to find a yearbook or something like that that might give us some information about this Violet. Maybe we can, assuming she's a minor, we can talk to her parents first and see what's going on over there.
So I'm going to switch over to Lazar, and you're sitting there getting your bearings. Acadia, she says, wait, just one moment, officer. I have this. And she rushes into the kitchen, opens up a cupboard, and retrieves an envelope. And she turns back to you. This is just the envelope, but I once again, I burned the letter. So
The letter? Oh, something you were talking to the
yes,
Martha
yes.
about.
Yes. And she hands you the envelope. The letter is addressed to Franklin, and it is, there's the initials RD on it.
RD. Miss Dubois, Miss Dubois, what was your maiden name?
It's always been Dubois.
So, your RD, what, you say you don't know who your, the husband is. I'm going, we're trying to find your boy. So please, we're not here to judge you. We've all done things we're not proud of. Are you saying that you've slept with multiple people back then, and you just don't know which one?
I'm not proud of it. Okay.
Of course, but
and I would like to make a correction. The envelope has the full name. It is Raymond Dubois.
Okay, Raymond Dubois.
And it lists Elysian Wells, Louisiana, as a return address.
Elysian. So now I ask a more embarrassing question, but we're just trying to find this all out. So, are you related to Mr. Dubois? That you have the same last name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
You don't know a Raymond Dubois?
And as soon as you say that name, her eyes like roll up and she starts convulsing.
I steady her and I set her down.
And as soon as you touch her, she says, no. And then she's going to try and strike you. So would you like to dodge or fight back?
I'll try and parry. I'll, raise my hand up.
Okay. Yeah. So that'd be an unarmed
82. She's faster
fighting
than
brawl.
I am.
All right. So she
Slaps me across the face.
clocks you in the face.
Oh,
And that's actually going to do some damage because she's going full like lethal force.
right.
And that's going to be 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. She assaults you. You cry out. The rest of the officers upstairs, they hear this.
And I guess I'm going to try and restrain her.
Okay. Yeah. So
Martha, I yell out.
Nothing. It's actually nothing from Acadia, but you yell out Martha. Everyone upstairs hears this.
Okay.
What the fuck is going on down there?
And we can
straight down.
talk about the initiative here, which would be it'd be your turn, Lazar.
I'm only going to try and restrain her. I don't hit women.
All right, I'll take another fighting brawl then.
Okay, that time I got a 6.
Yep.
So I've got her.
All right. She struggles. She knocks the tray of tea onto the ground. The porcelain shatters all over the carpet, but you have her restrained.
Oh,
And at this point, the rest of the officers they arrive if they are pursuing this source of the sound.
she's having some kind of a fit. They could probably see the big red welt on my face. But
Yeah.
I'm going to radio for an ambulance.
Okay. Excellent. So you're calling a bus, and you're holding her. No, and then she calms down. She's like, why am I being held?
Are you okay?
What
Calm
happened?
down.
What
All right.
happened?
I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
I turn to the others and I say, so here's the envelope. But when I said the name on the envelope, she had a very strong reaction, like she's got some sort of repressed memory. And she hit me, but I'm not going to do anything about that.
I'm going to document what I've seen anyway.
I don't think that I think she's all together there.
Did I hurt you? I'm sorry.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Can
I'm
I,
sorry.
this might be a bad idea, but I'm going to go ahead and say, are you familiar with the symbol? And I'm going to show her the picture of the sign.
She says, no, I'm not. Is that some kind of gang sign? Is Franklin wrapped up in some gang?
No. It's like a art thing. The kids, like abstract art, real goofy stuff.
I hope he isn't part of the gang. He's a good kid. He's a good kid.
I'm going to take Vincent aside, Vinny, and just say, so here's the envelope. Raymond Dubois. I asked her what her maiden name is, and she says it's Dubois. And I wonder if they were related, or if she just doesn't remember any longer what her maiden name. I don't think she's altogether in her head. But she had a very violent reaction. Her eyes rolled up into their sockets for a moment, and she swung wildly and hit me. But
It's almost as if she completely changed as a person.
It's like she's got somebody for a psychologist to.
Yeah.
I mean, her son could be buried under the floorboards. For all.
Can I roll psychology?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, I have. Okay, so we have 26. That's a hard pass.
Right. So she genuinely has no memory of what just occurred. And you're right along that note. It is maybe a repressed memory. Something triggered her.
So I'm going to tell Order Leon what I think. And I'm still going to have that bus come. I want her checked out.
Yeah.
See if I could possibly have a blood test done on her, something. Just make sure all the avenues are nice and clean.
Of course.
Yeah.
Vinny, a word?
I'm going to go talk to my fellow detective Ed.
Well, let me know what you think of this. So it seems like there's been a recent disturbance with the arguments about this boy's father, who I'm assuming is this Raymond. These troubles started as these fights began, and with this note that we found from Violet, it sounds like she's tied into this too. I think the three of these folks might be caught up in something. It sounds like maybe the father showed up, got these two kids roped into something, and this is what we're dealing with. Are you thinking the same thing?
Ed, the first thing I thought when we drove into this neighborhood was, I bet you this guy's, had someone hanging around, checking out the place, It's probably taken him. I think we need to go talk to this Violet and track down this guy.
At this point, I'd like everyone to roll a power roll.
Oh, 1.
19.
Oh, I failed.
Yeah,
Critical
that's a fail.
fail.
Critical fail. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So
0.
Vinny, Rico.
Yeah.
Fail? Okay. Martha.
I passed. I got 19.
Okay.
Which is
And
hard.
Edward.
I passed.
All right. So it's just Vinny and Rico. So you remember, or you're trying to remember, because you're getting some memories, some thoughts about how you are lying in bed with your now divorced wife. And you're remembering this moment. And it's one of the moments you look back to fondly when your marriage wasn't crap. And you're spooning her. But when she turns around to kiss you, she doesn't have a face. You can't remember what she looks like. But that's just a brief flash. Rico, you remember your love of photography, your camera, the one that you've saved up 3 paychecks for, the latest model, but you can't recall what that model was anymore. The feeling subsides.
I want to reach into my pocket, pull out my wallet, flip to where I got a photograph of me and my wife back in happy days, and I want to look at it.
You look at it, and it's been torn. Make a sanity roll.
Hard pass.
Okay, just take one.
I'm going to take a look at my camera and see what model it is.
It's scratched off. Make a
Yes,
sanity roll.
That's a fail.
That's a fail. All right, you can roll a d4 for me and take that much insanity damage.
Right, D4?
The d4. Count shock.
That's 3.
All right, take 3 off your sanity.
How do these guys do?
Yeah. You see
You
the
don't
rest
see it.
of you see the detective and the officer. They're just checking their things now, and they look spooked.
Mr.
Hey,
Garcia, while you're so occupied with your camera, could you please take a photograph of the hole in the wall?
Sorry, what camera? I mean, yeah, of course.
The
Yeah.
camera that's in your hands, Mr.
Yeah,
Garcia.
yeah. And I'll do that.
All right. Take a photo of the hole in the wall.
Jesus.
You boys all right?
I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe we shouldn't have had that cup of tea.
I'm going to go into the kitchen and I'm going to see if there's any funny stuff in the tea. I'm gonna see if there's a tin of tea. I'm gonna
Yeah. You grab the tea, and it looks like black oolong tea.
oolong.
Yes,
It's got a pretty strong smell, so
it does.
it's hard to see if there's anything in there. But I'm gonna take it back and have it analyzed.
Excellent.
Keeper, if I may ask, with the photograph, is it like completely torn up, or is it just like
It's just her
Just
face
her.
that's gone.
okay? I wanna pull Ed aside and ask him a question. Well, more like tell him my concern. Hey Ed, I don't want to sound like I've gone a bit fruity, but I swear this morning I was looking at my photograph and it was perfectly fine, and now it's all ripped to pieces. I don't know, it's just something real weird.
Let's have a look.
I'm gonna show him. And
So he shows you.
don't you tell anyone I showed you my wife.
Does this look like a recent tear, or is it
It looks like a photograph from a long time ago. I'm assuming a wedding photograph with you side by side.
Yep.
Yes. So you see a younger Detective Mattingly. He doesn't have as many dark spots underneath his eyes. However, where the bride is standing, it's just been torn. You can't see her face because the photograph has been torn.
You look about 20 pounds lighter in this photo.
It's all the donuts.
Beignets. So the tear, it doesn't look like something that he's just done himself. It looks
weathered. It looks like this tear happened a long time ago.
Oh, I don't know, Vinny. I mean, you sure that the other half of the photo isn't somewhere in your wallet or on the floor or something like that?
Nah, I swear, I was looking at it this morning. It wasn't like this at all. I'm starting to sound really crazy.
All right, I believe you.
Speaking of crazy, the sounds of an ambulance are approaching the house. And paramedics, they knock on the door.
I'll let him in.
All right.
I'll explain that she's fairly calm, but she had a violent outburst and her eyes rolled up into her head. So,
right. And she's sitting, hands over her face. She's sobbing. She said, "Am I okay? What's happening?"
Mrs. Dubois, we just want to have you checked out.
Okay.
It's a lot of stress you're under right now.
Right. The paramedic, he introduces himself as paramedic John Walker, and they'll take her over to the general hospital, and he gives you the address in case you need to interview her or anything, in case she's part of an active investigation.
I'm going to quietly talk to him on the side and just let him know, look, I want to get some blood works or, basically just make sure that she's not under the influence of anything. And as they're taking her out, I'm going to say to the missus, they'll take real good care of you. That cup of tea was a real blast.
Okay. Just please promise, get my Franklin back.
We're on it.
And they strap her onto a gurney so she doesn't hurt herself. And they wheel her away.
Is this house, can we lock it as we leave?
You can. The house is empty.
We're not leaving yet, but.
Yes, you are for all intents and purposes alone.
Hey, Martha.
Yes, Detective Bissonnette.
When you were talking to Miss Dubois, did she by chance happen to mention any places that she thought that he might run off to?
She didn't tell me specific locations that he could have gone to. However, Ms. Dubois is in charge of the Lafayette Theatre, where Franklin has performed before. I would hazard a guess that he would see this as a particularly safe place, and we should look into there as soon as possible. We should also speak to his high school teachers, because while a lot of his grades did drop, I did notice that his drama stayed the same. His astronomy stayed the same, and his French, in fact, improved slightly. So speaking to those teachers about the sort of student that Franklin was, and while we're there finding a yearbook so we can find Ms. Violet, I think is a good way to orient ourselves for further along in this case.
And talk to the students too. Drama students, they like to be kind of petty. So if they liked him, they didn't like him.
I wouldn't know. But yes, I think those are our best ports of call. Finding other places of interest in this house, but again, we have free reign now, so we more than likely can just come back when we want.
Well, once we leave, we're going to lock the door. I don't think we have the key.
We could probably find the spare. Actually, no, not in this area. They wouldn't have a spare around here.
Maybe she left the window open.
If she hasn't taken her key with her, then we can just take her house key.
Let's
Sounds like a warrant to me.
Sounds like it's only a problem if people find out about it to me.
We could get a forensic team up here and have them look around. Maybe have a dog sniff the floor, see if there's a dead body underneath.
Yeah, make sure there's no drugs.
Speaking of a warrant, we have her assaulting an officer of the law. We have every right to investigate the scene as much as possible.
Yeah, I don't want to persecute her on that. She's a poor lady.
Well, I'm not saying we prosecute her. I'm saying we conveniently drop the charges after any sort of legal recompense for us to be searching this area is no longer required.
She invited us in, so
She did.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna point to Martha and I'm gonna be like, "Are you a detective?"
When you grow up in the system, you learn how to exploit it.
Listen, we got to be careful. They've got Fourth Amendment rights, and we need to respect those.
Yeah, she invited us in, so she let us look around already, so we can look around.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that if we asked her, she would let us continue to search. I don't think it would be too much of a bureaucratic nightmare.
Yeah, maybe we won't have to. Maybe we'll find out from the other kids where he is.
Sounds like a plan. So we've got a few leads here. Perhaps, as Martha was saying, the Lafayette Theater, he might feel comfortable there. I think kids this age running off usually gravitate to places they feel comfortable with. The school was another lead. We could talk to his teacher, see how he's been doing lately, get a word from his classmates, and we should be able to work with the school on getting information on where this Violet lives, and we can speak with her parents and see if we can get a hold of her. She seems to be involved with what's going on with Franklin.
I think Jefferson High is our first port of call.
C'est le grand roulé.
All right. So would you like to move on, or are you still,
Yeah.
do you still have unfinished business here?
I think they're right. We can come back if we need to.
Okay. And you grab a key off the kitchen counter. All right. That being said, I will take another power roll from everyone, please.
6, that is a pass.
Pass.
All right.
It's
Just
a
let me know
pass.
if you fail.
Fail.
Okay. Officer Bourdillon, you suddenly have memory of one of the happiest days of your life, your graduation from the police academy. Your father was there, your grandfather was there, and they were both police officers as well. This is the first time you ever saw your grandfather cry, just pure happiness for you, continuing the family tradition. However, he doesn't have a face. You can't remember what he looks like.
You okay there, Bordelon?
Oh, just remembering my graduation from the police academy, and I find that I can't remember what my grandfather looks like.
Really?
It did knock you around a little bit.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a weird question?
Yeah.
Was I married?
I don't know. Were you married?
Keeper, was I married?
Oh,
Or do I
no.
remember having?
Oh, that's up to you.
Okay, because I remember I saw the divorced wife in the memory. So
That was Vince.
That was
I mean,
for Mattingly.
oh my
Yeah,
bad. I thought that was a shared delusion.
None.
Never mind.
All right. So from what I hear, you are heading to the theater.
I wanted to go to the high school.
high
I
school,
think
okay.
that's a better starting point.
Excellent.
should we split up?
We can split up if we'd like to.
I'll go with Martha.
Maybe one detective and one officer for each place. I can go with Detective Bissonnette to the theater.
Sounds good to me.
the three of you can go to the school.
Okay, excellent. So you head over to Jefferson High School. The rest of you, Detective Mattingly, Officer Garcia, as well as Martha. The mascot of this high school is a saint, and it's a larger building that has been patched up many times. It's had a lot of make-do fixes, and school is in session today. I believe it's Friday. So, and it's about noon. So you see the hustle and bustles of students as they go to the cafeteria to get lunch.
Would I have any knowledge if there's any issues with the school, like any gangs, drugs, that sort of stuff?
Right. Yes, there has been some issues with juvenile delinquency, but it's neither here or there when it comes to.
And it's a religious school, right?
Yes.
Would you say heavily religious?
Oh, actually, no. It is a public school.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
Spinking those penguins, slapping those kids around.
Yeah, the glass doors welcome you if you'd like to enter in.
Excellent. So I'd like to head to where I remember the office being from my time at Jefferson High.
All right. So you remember that Principal Marcus Wayne, he's the principal of the school, and you've worked with him in the past, and he's been very friendly and accommodating. However, he's not in the office. Instead, you recognize another teacher, Santiago Galvez. And he says, hello, officers. How can I help you? I'm not the principal. I'm currently acting while he's recovering.
I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Detective Vinny Mattingly. This is Officer Rico, and this is Martha, who's a social worker who's working with us. We just want to inquire about a student that goes to the school.
Oh, well, okay. Pleasure to have you. I'll be happy to answer any question. What's this about? And he tidies up his button-down shirt.
Oh. Do you know Franklin Dubois?
Oh, yes, I know Franklin.
Oh, is he a good little egg?
He loves theater. He's a really great student when it comes to theater. He's been active since he was a sophomore. He's probably so talented because his mother owns the Lafayette Theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's a very talented little boy, eh?
Yeah. Well, actually, his academics took a heavy hit this year. Maybe trouble at home. I don't want to pry.
Does he have a locker we could have a little bit of a squiz at?
Yes, he's got some lockers. He's got a locker down the hallway.
Opening it for us.
He hands you the combination as well as the number.
Okay. And maybe you want to have a chat with our social worker here, or we just go have a look, and we'll join you in a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
And one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen a girl by the name of Violet that hangs out with Franklin?
Oh, yes. That's she goes by Violet, but
okay. Any other?
Her name's Valencia Sanchez.
Valencia Sanchez. Okay. Yes. What's she like?
She is part of the goth counterculture.
Goth?
And,
what's a goth?
They like to wear all black, and it's just their style.
They into drugs.
I don't know anything about
drugs. Know Mary Jane?
I wouldn't know anything about that, officer.
Wouldn't you? Okay. Rico, come with me. Let's go check this locker and we'll look for this girl. Do you know what class she would be in right now?
Actually, she got suspended.
Suspended for drugs?
Well, Franklin also got suspended. There was an incident. No, not drugs. This incident actually put Wayne in the hospital. Apparently, someone bit his face off.
Excuse me?
There was just an incident where, for the Mardi Gras recital, the theater kids they were putting on this play, and there was a huge fight afterwards.
But by bit his face off, you mean like
someone in the crowd bit his face, and this Mr. Principal Wayne, he's recovering from surgery.
You're telling me the principal got his face bitten off?
Correct.
Who was the biter?
One of the members of the audience, I think her name's Clara.
Last name?
Yeah, Clara Wellington.
Okay. Clara Wellington. And where can we find this Clara Wellington?
Well, I can give you her address if you want.
Okay, that would be good.
I hope she's in the slam.
I'd also like to have a look at Valencia's locker as well.
She's at a psychiatric hospital currently.
Okay. Well, Rika, let's go have a look while the social worker talks to this dude.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Martha, what would you like to ask?
Mr. Galvez, I'm so sorry to hear about Marcus. That's such a shame.
Yes, it was actually quite terrifying.
Yeah,
we suspended a lot of people that day.
Did you suspend the entire company?
Yes, they.
Okay.
I have no idea what got into everyone. There was just a huge fight. Everyone was suspended, and on top of that, it was ruined. The celebration was ruined.
So there was a large quarrel, rather, and at some point the principal's face was bitten clean off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was outside, I ran to the bathroom, and when I came back to the auditorium, people were scratching and biting up at each other, and so, like, they were trying to eat them. It was, I've never seen anything like that. I tried to break them up, and at some point, someone called the police, and then they took care of it, and we suspended everyone involved.
I see. Okay.
Wayne, he before he lost consciousness, he blamed Franklin and the rest of the theater crew.
Okay. Well, that's
I don't think Franklin and the rest of the group deserve to be suspended. He's a good kid.
It does seem very heavy-handed from my personal point of view. I think these kids are better off being in school, but
that's Principal Wayne.
That's the decision that's been made.
Yes.
Yeah, you and I both know Principal Wayne. Wonderful. Now, jog my memory. Who was the astronomy teacher here again?
Astronomy teacher?
Yes, astronomy.
That'd be Dr. Tassiv.
Dr. Tassiv. Wonderful.
Why you're interested in astronomy?
You've not worked with me terribly much before in these sorts of cases. But when a kid goes missing, I like to look at the subjects where they did particularly well in, and sort of try and gather a more whole profile of the kid. Because quite often, you go to home, you go to their friends, you get very specific sides of this person, and going to school is just another side of that. So from the report card that we saw, Franklin's astronomy grades kept rather level along with his drama, whereas most everything else has taken a bit of a nosedive. Now, I'd like to speak to the drama teacher and the French teacher as well.
Yeah, I am the drama teacher.
You are the drama teacher.
Yes.
Wonderful.
But how can I help you?
Well, See, Franklin's been acting quite strangely this last quarter, which I think you would have noticed, given that he's, to my understanding, quite involved with the theatre. Mum runs Lafayette Theatre.
Yes.
Yeah, so you would see Franklin after school at rehearsals, no?
Yes, he would spend the majority of his time rehearsing different plays. He was actually asking around for someone to transcribe a French play.
Right. Did he ask he would have asked the French teacher, I presume.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about that.
Not so sure?
He was the type to depend on his friends first.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, his little group's very, very odd. They called themselves the Signs.
The signs.
Yeah.
Like triangles, like sine, cosine.
Yeah,
tangent, no?
probably.
Yeah, okay. So these signs, how many of them were there? I assume Miss Alicia and Franklin are two, but how many more signs are there?
Well, there was Valencia, there was Aiden Sawyer, Samantha Beadle, there's Franklin. How could I forget? That's all I can remember off the top of my head for now.
Okay. And so Aiden and Samantha, I presume, also do drama?
Aiden? Yes. They were all part of the theater.
They're all part of theatre, yes. So they'd be suspended as well.
Mhm.
Okay. I'd like to speak to their families as well, if I may. Again, to build a more broad picture of.
I actually have their phone numbers.
Wonderful.
And
Excellent.
here's the full list. It's Franklin, Chris D, Aiden Sawyer, Paul and David Roger, and Samantha Beadle. He gives you all their phone numbers.
Wonderful. I think
it's at. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think at this point, if the detectives find something in Franklin or Valencia's locker, they're going to want access to these other lockers as well.
Of course.
So perhaps we should prepare that for them when they inevitably come back, and then I will go off to the astronomy teacher, presuming they're not in class. And
all right, yeah, definitely. So we will switch on over to the people who went to the theater as you head on to the Lafayette.
This must be the place here.
Yes, it's an older theater. It's crumbling. And give me a spot hidden roll, please, both of you.
I got a 69. What is that? That is a fail.
All right. So
I failed as well.
So besides the ancient architecture of this building, you don't notice much. There's a flickering light in the main lobby that doesn't really invite you in.
Is there nobody here?
It looks like there's no one here.
So before we head on in, let's try to get on the same page about what we're trying to figure out here. So if we do find somebody in here, we know the questions that we want to ask them. So what do we know about this place? This is where Franklin would perform some of his shows. Is that correct?
That's what we know.
Yeah, he performs shows occasionally, and
his mom's theater.
Yeah.
Is there any pay bills on the wall that tell us what productions they've been doing? Or
Yes.
coming?
So, in addition to theater plays that would be put on, there was also movies that would be projected via projector,
Sure.
like Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, To Catch a Thief, Hitchcock classics.
Old classics. That's nice. Midnight shows, maybe.
Yes, and there are some upcoming theater events for things that would be popular at this time.
Okay. Obviously nothing really big, but
No.
smaller stuff. But nothing that stands out or is unusual.
Mhm.
Let's see if there's a custodian or somebody. You might have to walk around to the back and bang on the stage door.
Okay.
So
as you bang on the stage door, you hear, what is it?
New Orleans Police Department.
Oh, the police. Huh. All right. And the door opens, revealing an older man in a dull gray janitor outfit. He has a broom in his hand as he's in the middle of mopping the floor, which is slick with cleaning solution. Yes. How can I help you? He stares off into the distance.
Edward Bissonnette. This is my coworker, Officer Baudelon.
Pleasure to meet you.
What's your name?
I am Harold Jones. I am the proud custodian of this theater.
It's always good to see a man taking pride in his work.
Yes. I clean up for Acadia.
We just came here from Mrs. Dubois' house. Her son is missing.
Missing.
Any chance he's inside?
No, I haven't seen him.
You care if we come in and look around?
Of course, officers. And you enter the theater itself, and it's very elegant, yet rustic. The columns hold up the overhanging second-story veranda, and it's and the theater seats they're a little eaten away by insects or whatnot, but it's homey in a rustic sense.
Mr. Jones, so you worked for Miss Acadia Dubois, that's correct?
Yes.
Have you noticed any recent changes in her demeanor or odd behavior over, say, the last, let's say, couple of months?
No, Acadia, she's been fine. She's such a hard worker. She makes sure that there's movies going on in the projector so she can put food on the table to support her boy Franklin.
So he performs shows at this location rather regularly, right?
Occasionally he would.
I'm going to go have a look around while you talk.
Okay.
So do you know the boy Franklin very much then, Mr. Jones?
Yes, Franklin. He's a good boy, and he's always interested in the arts. I think. Well, can't seem to remember. And he looks off in the distance.
You all right, sir? Do you need a glass of water?
Oh yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. What were you saying?
I was just asking you about your knowledge of the boy Franklin Dubois and of his personality and perhaps any recent changes in behavior that you've noticed in him.
Yeah. Franklin Raymond? And he stares off once again.
Interesting. Are you sure you're all right? Do you need to take a seat? Perhaps we can always talk about this later if you're not well.
He takes a seat onto one of the velvet-colored chairs. He says, I think I used to act here.
Before you became the custodian?
Yes. I used to act here.
Did you enjoy that?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much.
Well, that's
Those
good to hear.
smiles.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you had such a good experience here and that you have a chance to give back to the venue that you got so much enjoyment from. I do want to ask a couple of quick questions about how you're feeling. Have you been well lately? You've kind of trailed off a little bit, and you're mixing up names of folks that I came to understand that you knew well. Have you been overworked? Are you tired? What's going on, Mr. Jones?
I think I need to lay down. I'm feeling unwell.
Very well. Do you have a place that you can do that here? I'd be glad to escort.
He points towards a back office and grunts.
Let's get you over there. Let's see. We'll get you sorted out.
All right. And
here, take my jacket. You can use this as a pillow.
Thank you, young man. And
No problem.
we're gonna go over to the officer board alone, as you are in a nearly empty theater.
Well, that theater has a lot of parts to it, a backstage and probably
Yes.
dressing rooms and a projection booth up above if she's showing movies. And
There
I'm
are.
just going to wander around. I want to see if there's any sign that like Franklin's been sleeping here or anything like that.
Right. You can give me a spot hidden roll.
18. That is a hard.
That is a hard. Okay. As you're walking through this theater, you experience that sense of vertigo once more. That you, not unlike the one you experienced at the Dubois residence. And in some places, the wallpaper looks like it's been peeled off. And furthermore, because you got a hard, it looks like the layout of the building it reveals that it would make sense for a room to be there.
You mean like they're trying to conceal a hidden room?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to make detective eventually, but I always thought about that. I sort of pace it off to see if I can figure out where this discrepancy might be. Feel the wall to see if I can feel like a place where there's a hidden door.
Mm-hmm. So you begin to peel away a section of the yellow wallpaper, and you discover a door. Long ago forgotten. And on the door is a yellow sign, as well as names. Names of the signs, which we described at the school, as well as a hole where a lock and a doorknob used to be.
I'm going to push the door. It is push open or pull out?
It pulls out.
Pull it out. Got my flashlight.
It is pitch dark, but your torch illuminates the room. Yeah. And it shines right onto a white theater mask that is on top of some boxes.
Jesus Christ.
It looks like the leftover of a teenage hangout. There's rolls of fabric, incomplete pieces of set, and play scripts.
Detective.
I'm going to rejoin Officer Bourdillon.
I think I might have found a place.
What do you got there, Bourdillon?
Looks like a hidden room. Hangout for the teenagers.
Have a gander. Excellent work, officer. I don't know if I'd have found that myself. Do you think this was some sort of an peering into it, seeing some of the things in there?
Well,
Do you think this was some sort of an addition to the building?
no, I don't know. I think it might have just been a storage unit at one point for the theater, and it's pretty well concealed. But I pulled back the paper a little. I hope it's not like I'm doing it in great damage. I'll step inside to see if goddamn mask, and I'll take the mask down and lay it on a table or something.
All right.
Do I see the same sign?
Yes, you do.
That's an interesting connection.
At this point, I can accept some power rules from you.
The same one that we saw on the kid's door
Yes.
or on the wall. 25. Yeah, that's a hard.
A hard. Excellent. That's a success. What about you, Bissonette?
It's a failure.
All right. So you remember your childhood, your evenings, your long evenings spent among the fields, the tobacco fields where you once grew up. They had a specific smell. And you'd always notice this when your grandfather, Pierre, would drive you through the fields to show you around. You can't remember that smell anymore.
Sorry, hold on. I'm gonna have to brace myself against you.
Yeah, sit down. I had a little spell myself. Something's in the air.
Yeah, I'm noticing some sort of I think Mr. Jones back there was under the same sort of effect. He wasn't remembering basic things that we just talked about, and similar things were happening back at the Dubois house. Maybe something's in the air. Maybe there's mold in the walls. I don't know.
Yeah, these old places could have mold in the walls.
Yeah, I feel like it's passing now. It just was a brief bit of confusion, and just I don't know, I had sort of a flashback, but it was a little altered. Key memories that I had from my childhood, I'm not remembering it.
I keep having such memories too, and then I can't remember certain things, like my grandfather's face. I mean, in our house, my father, my grandfather, they have police portraits on the wall, and I've looked at them my whole life, and suddenly I can't remember my grandfather's face.
That's the exact same thing that's happening to me. I grew up on a tobacco plantation, and we fermented and cured Perique tobacco in St. James Parish, and it had a very distinct smell. We would cure it, and I can't remember it.
That sweet sort of smell, yeah. I hope it's not mold. Good God. I hope we're not infected with some horrible lung-destroying disease. You said that there were scripts on the...
Yes.
I'll pick one up and take a look at it.
It looks like a French play. And
some sort of French play. I speak some French.
Mm-hmm. It's the King in Yellow play. And in the margins is English transcriptions, translations, and it looks like the messy handwriting of a teenager. In addition to this transcribed script to the King in Yellow, you find a bunch of theater flyers that get your attention.
He's doing Jean, the King in Yellow. Never heard of it. Is that a Shakespeare? No?
Beats me.
Looks like they've got a whole tour. How could they have a tour?
This name, this got to be something, this Raymond. So I forgot to mention, because I had that little spell just a moment ago, but I was talking to Mr. Jones, and I was asking about Franklin and about working for Acadia, and I never once mentioned Raymond. And he had about just like the ones that we've been having.
Yeah.
And I continued talking to him, and he mentioned Raymond. I didn't push him on it, because when you mentioned Raymond to Acadia, well, the outcome wasn't too good. But I wanted to mention that to you. I didn't want to send him into a fit, but
Yeah.
maybe he's.
But look here. This is 1986 to 1987. And it's Raymond Dubois, probably his father. And this is all through January that, that they're performing this. Now he's got a copy of the play. And what is that horrible thing in the background? Looks like a monster of some sort holding a mask. You see it?
Yeah, I do see it.
It looks like the mask over here.
Yeah, it does.
And the majestic players. We could look into these majestic players. Obviously, they had some sort of a tour. Maybe we can track down his father, find out what the hell's going on.
Raymond might know. He said that before he became the custodian that he was involved in theater himself. So I'd imagine during that time period, he might have been in.
Wait, his name is Raymond.
Pardon. Harold Jones.
Oh, okay.
That was my mistake. I'm still feeling a little lightheaded.
I thought we were going to wrap this all up right now.
It's at this point.
Oh, it can be so easy.
Spot hiddens.
Spot hidden?
Mm-hmm.
25, what's that?
I failed.
I'll spend 3 points of luck to make that a hard.
Very well. So as you're standing in this darkened, hidden room, the only light coming from the outside hallway, you notice movement, Officer Bordelon. And you see a silhouette of a man standing in the entrance, the doorway. And you think it's the janitor. And in his hands is a double-barrel shotgun. And he screams, "He will not be mocked! He is a king whom emperors have served!" And then we're going to cut over to the school. And you're at the school, Detective Mattingly, as well as Officer Garcia and Martha. So what would you like to do?
Well, I'm going to be walking with Garcia to the first locker of Franklin's, and I'm going to be finishing up a joke with Garcia. So, I went to put the beads around the neck, and, she's like, no, that's not where the beads go. Here's the locker.
Yeah, you find a locker. Martha, do you catch up to them, or are you still going over to the astronomy teacher?
So I'm going to go to the astronomy classroom. I've set up for them to come back to the principal and get more people to look into. Like I've left them a note and stuff.
Okay.
But our time's best used if I go deal with the astronomy teacher now.
All right. So you pop open Franklin's locker. There are a few school books, textbooks. You do notice that the French language class textbook is missing. The locker also contains a torn photograph of a girl with black eyeliner, purple lipstick, and deep violet hair. And there is also a stack of loose leaf notebook pages in English and French of a play script with stage blocking instructions. So you might have to read through this and spend some time there.
Okay.
But that's all you find.
We'll go over to Valencia's locker next.
Right. You don't find anything of interest in Valencia's locker, just books.
I'm going to flick through the books, make sure there's nothing in there.
Okay, give me a spot hidden then.
Hard success.
Hard success. All right. You find a letter hidden in a corner of the locker, tucked away, addressed to Franklin saying, "Hey, we need to talk. I've kept the copy of your father's letter safe.
Bingo, bango. I think we found our evidence right here.
Yes, and there's also tucked away a transcribed part of a play.
Along the shore, the cloud waves break. The twin suns sink behind the lake. The shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise and strange moons circle through the skies. But stranger still is lost Carcosa. Songs that Hades shall sing, where flap the tatters of the king, must die unheard in dim Carcosa. Song of my soul, my voice is dead. Die thou unsung as tears unshed shall dry and die in lost Carcosa.
The hell does that mean?
Maybe somewhere in South America.
Jesus, I shouldn't have dropped out of college.
I'm gonna roll knowledge. Would it be knowledge? See if I can recognize Carcosa.
Do you have Cthulhu Mythos?
Do I?
No, you probably don't.
No.
Yeah,
History?
you have no idea what this is. It sounds like some made up land.
Can I roll to see if I recognize the Hyades? Because that's a real thing, I think.
Sure. Actually, no need to roll. You recognize it from.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have no idea how. What is the Hyades? Can you enlighten me?
It's a star cluster.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Constellation.
Wonderful. So yes, you recognize the constellation.
Maybe you want to ask the astronomy teacher about that.
Yes. And speaking of astronomy teacher, you're going to head over there because I believe Martha was heading over there. And we will go to Professor Tassov's classroom. He currently is on study hall.
Right.
A lot of board students are looking down at their papers, playing tic-tac-toe, whatnot.
I'm gonna introduce myself to them.
Well, I believe Martha would have gotten there first.
Oh, yep.
In case she wanted to
So
add.
I'm gonna do a little cheeky knock on the door.
Yes, he says, "Oh yes, and he's a bespectacled Bulgarian man." Says, "Hello,
Dr. Tassov.
yes, that's me."
Ah, wonderful. My name is Martha Foster. I'm working with the New Orleans police. I need to speak with you for a minute, just about something important.
And he says, "Okay, class, make sure you behave," and he steps out with you.
Wonderful. Dr. Tassov, I understand that you had a Franklin Dubois in your class.
Yes, I did.
Was Franklin particularly interested in astronomy? I've noticed that his grades for your class have stayed the same where others have dropped. I'm trying to get a better idea of this man.
Oh yes, he was always interested in the clusters of stars that have been above us.
Clusters of stars. Like,
Yes.
let's forgive me. I am very much not an astronomer by any sense of the word. The special clusters, they have names like constellations. You mean constellations? I think I'm a Virgo.
No, well, astronomy is a lot more complicated than that. But Franklin, yes, he was an average student. He came to me this quarter saying that he needed help identifying a certain cluster of stars, the Hyades.
The Hyades.
Yes.
Okay. What's that?
So he gives you the information on the cluster of stars.
Perfect. Yes. So he was after this. Do you know why he was after this particular cluster of stars?
He mentioned something about timing.
Timing. Right. Okay. Wonderful. Sounds good. If I need to speak to you again, I'll call the school. But I think we're okay. So this Heidi's, just to finish up, this Heidi's is like, where is this Heidi's located? Is this like in a particular constellation or?
And he gives you the information on that.
Dead center in the middle of Taurus, the ball.
Dead center in the middle of Taurus. Wonderful.
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna let you get back to your class. I'm sure your students are eagerly gossiping about what's happening out here.
Yes. Well, what happened to Franklin?
We're still trying to figure that out. Our methods guarantee a result at the end of the day. It's just a matter of how pleasant that result is. Yes. Take care. I'll contact you if I need you again.
I hope for your success.
If you really want, we can march you in handcuffs when the officers come join me. But I suspect that may be a bit too much excitement for their young brains.
Yes. All right, and you meet back up with Detective Madeline and Officer Garcia.
Yeah, meet up with them. So Franklin's into some weird shit. He's got this group of friends. The weird shit, not necessarily drugs. I haven't heard anything about that, but he does have this group of friends called the Signs. Of which Ms. Valencia, the Violet girl, is one of. But we also have an Aiden, a Samantha, a Christy, and Paul and David, who I think are brothers, maybe twins even. We should probably look at their personal effects. I did ask the vice principal to prepare all their contact information and lockers and such so we can go through their gear while we're here. They're all suspended because of the face biting incident, which is
the face eating incident. Yeah.
Yes. Whatever is going on, it can't be good. But until we get to the bottom of it, we should keep digging.
Well, it makes sense that he's in the signs since he's interested in astrology. I was born in April. I don't know what that makes me, but he's a weird guy.
And
that's totally strange.
I'm going to let Martha know about the note that we found and all that information. And yeah.
Oh, he mentioned this this cluster, the astronomy. He apparently Franklin wanted to know where it was for timing. I don't know what that means, but I don't know. Maybe he's
definitely satanic. Definitely satanic.
I'm not so sure about satanic.
It's those gods.
Let's not go too far here.
Starts with the drugs, and the next thing you know, you're worshiping
100%.
someone in California.
Sure thing, officers. Right. Let's go look at their lockers and then meet up with the others at the theater, I think.
Okay.
All right.
Before while they go off to check the lockers, I'm going to quickly walk to the admin and I'm going to ask whoever's at the desk, I'm going to flash my badge and I just need to use your phone for some official police business.
Sure.
And I'm going to pick it up, give a bit of a sigh, and I'm going to try calling my wife or my ex-wife.
Your ex-wife? All right.
Yep.
Number doesn't go through. You get a dial tone, like it doesn't exist.
Just hang up and then I'll go back.
That's sanity to roll.
No, it's a pass.
All right. So 0. It's odd. It's odd.
Maybe you should change the number.
Maybe. And we're gonna move back to the exciting shotgun wielding janitor.
So this is Harold.
Yeah, it's Harold.
Okay, when he points and yells, I am going to yell, "Detective, watch out!" And I'm going to drop to the ground with my gun and probably fire.
All right, you have the highest dexterity, so why don't you go ahead? And he's aiming this double barrel.
I got a 40, is that a 9? 49 out of 70. So it's a regular shot.
Okay. Well, you can roll damage.
It's my Glock. 1d10. 8.
Oh, all right. So the Glock, the gunshot rings out, deafening your ears in this small room. And you can see that you've hit him square in the chest. And he just falls down, screaming about he's the servant of the king, clutching at the wound, now spreading the blood across the floor. He has been incapacitated.
All right, I'm going to use this opportunity to rush over towards Harold. I'm going to take the shotgun away from his grasp.
Mhm.
I'm going to roll a first aid check to stabilize the wound and detain him.
Sure.
And I'm going to, I assume we have radios.
You do.
I don't know.
Or they would be in the police car. They'd either be in the police car or they'd be on.
I'll go call dispatch.
Okay.
Okay.
So the operator answers and you.
I explain the situation. We need to get cops down here.
Yeah. Okay.
And
they will send some cops over and please just make sure you hand over the handgun for internal affairs to take to make sure it was a good shooting. And what did you roll, Detective Bissonnette?
So I rolled 3 over my first aid skill, which is 65.
Okay.
So I'd like to spend 3 luck points to make it a success so I can stay the bleeding.
All right. So you spend luck and you manage to stop. You put pressure on the wound and you stop the bleeding.
Okay. I'm going to cuff him and I'm going to, once I know that he's stable, is he lucid? Is he conscious? What's he doing?
He was in so much pain that he was moaning and groaning, but now it appears that he's now unconscious.
Conscious or unconscious?
Unconscious.
Unconscious. Okay. All right. Well, that solves that. Then I was going to talk to him for a little bit, but yeah. So I'm going to help Officer Bordelon secure the scene, and having heard him call in for backup, I'm just going to once Harold, I know he's secured, he's not going anywhere, no longer a threat. What are you doing? Are you all right?
I don't know. The shock, he pointed the shotgun, so I had to shoot. I didn't want to kill him. I hope I didn't kill him.
No, I think he'll be all right. This can really weigh hard on an officer.
Something has driven him to insanity. I don't know what. But he's talking about the king, like in the play.
Yeah, he's got to have something to do with this. Let's just take it easy for a little bit. I'm sure your heart's racing. Let's wait for the brass to get here and decompress. And
hey, you need to take my gun.
Okay, will do. I'm going to engage in the standard operating procedure for an officer-involved shooting. And listen, if you need to talk about this at all ever, I'm always here. I know this can really weigh on you, keep you up at night. Just don't go it alone.
I'll go talk to my priest. I'm a Catholic, you know.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right. Would you like to do anything before we move on? Or are you going to wait patiently for backup to arrive?
I'm going to make sure that Harold is still stable until more professional medical help arrives.
I'll stay here with him if you want to look around some more. I didn't see anything but this room.
Sure. Then I'm going to use this opportunity to look around this room a little bit more and gather some more evidence.
And
Okay,
I'm probably going to pray.
got it. All right, so we will move on over to the trio: Martha Foster, Detective Mattingly, and Rico Garcia. So you're checking the rest of the lockers, and you're finding just high school student stuff. There's no other clues that stick out to you. However, you did get from the what do you call it? The acting principal that you do have phone numbers.
Yeah, cool. I think we should start phoning him. We can even delegate this off to some desk workers so we can continue going around. Just taking statements on. I'm interested in this face biting incident. I'd like to know what the parents, particularly the kids, but it might just be the parents that we can contact. What they had to say about it, and what we can figure out. I think we should, rather than to dispatch. Oh no, maybe we swing by the station, drop this on someone's desk, and then swing by the theater to see what they found over there.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Would they have heard, at least the officers have heard our chatter on the radio? We probably
they would hear it about now after they wrapped up their stuff. So yes, you get reports of the shooting.
Okay, let's not stop by the station. Let's fucking go to the theater.
Yeah.
I got a high school next thing, my partner's having a shootout. Yeah.
All right, so you head over to the Lafayette Theater, and you can actually give me a spot hidden roll as you approach this building that's surrounded by police cruisers, an ambulance, an older man's being wheeled out.
I failed.
Handcuffed as well. Pass. As you're looking up at the crumbling Lafayette Theater sign, you notice that beneath that, in old painting that's been washed away, you can barely read "The Majestic."
Can I roll my history? See if I have any knowledge about the cinema?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. That's a hard pass.
A hard pass. With a hard pass, you realize that this used to be the Majestic Theater. And once again, they changed. So the deed to the theater was given to presumably Acadia.
Would I have any knowledge of, I don't know, did it ever burn down or anything like that, or anything serious happen there?
Let me see. It was originally opened in 1908, and it was devastated by a fire in 1895.
Okay, I'm gonna let them know.
Sorry, you said it opened in 1908?
Yes.
And then it was damaged in 1895?
Oh, sorry. So it opened as a theater in 1908, but it was a manor before for a wealthy merchant family, the Dubois.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
And then it was devastated in the fire in 1895.
I was wondering how a prostitute could afford such a big building.
I'm telling you, it's drugs. She's doing drugs.
Well, it sounds like she inherited it.
Yeah, she inherited that drugs.
So as you look at this, you see once again Harold being wheeled out, and you see a very tired-looking Officer Bordelon just sitting on the steps of the theater, being consoled by Bissonette.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to him and start consoling him.
Yeah, and we'll end it there.
What you do?
Easy there, Haas. Just doing my job.
Our players included Scott Champeau, Daniel DePaulis, Max Meltzer, Riley Kruger, and myself, with Alex Sun as the keeper of secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good game.